See, in the yesterday's class, we were seeing about the motivation. Okay, we saw the definition of the motivation. Uh, so, what are the how the persons will be motivated? That one we now we will continue some with the some more theories of the motivation. Okay, okay. So here are some theories which are there. Okay. So number one, the Maslow hierarchy theory of the theory is Maslow hierarchies of needs theory. Then McGeorge's theory of X and theory Y. Then Herberg's two fact theory and Max Zillend's three needs theory. Hope so. This might be the question in the in examinations also regarding the theory of the motivation. Okay. So let us begin with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory. So this Maslow hierarchy of needs theory, Maslow argues that each levels in the needs hierarchy must be substantially satisfied before the next need becomes dominant. So yesterday we saw one triangle. In the triangle, there were certain basic needs kept. So what does the Maslow says? He argues that at each level, the hierarchies, the needs should be satisfied. Then the next need becomes the dominant. Next, an individual moves up the needs hierarchy from one level to the next level. After satisfying the basic level one need, the person next moves to next need. He considered psychological and safety needs, okay, as a lower order needs. So what does the Maslow hierarchy says? These all are the psychological needs, the psychological needs and the safety needs. These needs are the lower order needs. Then he also considers that social, self-esteem, then self-actualization needs. These are the higher order needs. So in the triangle, the social need, the self-esteem needs, and the self-actual needs, these are the higher order needs. Lower order needs are predominantly satisfied externally, and higher order needs are satisfied internally. The lower order needs will be satisfied by the person externally, and the lower higher order needs are satisfied through the internal of the person. See, this was the triangle. Okay. See, these are the psychological needs and the safety needs. What are the psychological needs come here? The psychological needs such as food, warmth, sleep, safety needs such as being safe, that is the shelter, free from harm. So these are the lower order needs. What the as per the Maslow, these needs are the lower order needs, and these are the higher order needs. So these are to be satisfied externally, and these above needs are to satisfied through the internally. The social needs, that is being loved, befriended, accepted by the others. Self-esteem needs, that is being respected by the others because of the accomplishment done by the person. Then the self-actualization, that is realizing the full potentials of the person. So these are the Maslow hierarchies need. Next theory comes is the McGeorge theory of X and McGeorge theory of Y. Douglas McGeorge is the best known about two assumptions human nature, that is theory of X and theory of Y. McGeorge is very well known about his theory of X and theory of Y. This person has divided the human beings into two types, that is X people and Y people. The theory X is a negative view of the people and theory Y is a positive view of the people. Yeah. The theory why assumption should guide management practice and propose that participation and decision making responsible and challenging jobs and good group relation would maximize employee motivation. So what does the theory why assumption does? The theory why assumes that they should be guided by the management, then there should be participation, then there will be should be they are the decision maker, and these people are also responsible for the challenging job also. Then these people maintain a good group relation, so that with the help of this one the employee motivation can be increased. Then the another theory, that is the Harber's true fact theory, and this is also called as motivation hygiene theory. Here it has two factors, that is the intrinsic factors, that is the job satisfaction, and the extrinsic factors are the job dissatisfaction. So the motivator hygiene, the achievement is the salary, recognition is the potential for the growth, the work itself is the interpersonal relations, how it is maintained, responsibility, that is the status and working conditions depend upon that one, then advancement, that is the technical supervision, company policy and administration, and job security. Okay, then comes the McClelland's three needs theory. So in the McClelland's three needs theory, David McClelland and his associate also proposed three needs theory, which says that there are three acquired, not innate. They are not inside, but they are acquired one, and they are also not born. These all needs are acquired. Then needs that are major motivators in the work. These are the major motivating the work. Which are those three needs which are needed? That is need for the achievement, need of the power, and need for the affiliation. When these three needs are met, then there is a good motivation. Okay, so this was about the theory of the. So as I also discussed you before in my first class, the direction, there were elements of the direction. In the elements of the direction, that is the motivation should be there, proper communication should be there, supervision and leadership. So we completed about the motivation and we'll move towards the communication. So regarding the communication, so what is communication? This is the next element of this direction is the communication. So what is communication? In the simple word, this communication, it is a Latin word which comes from the communis. Communis, which means that common. Okay, the word communication is used in a common talk, usually to mean the speaking or writing or sending a message to another person. Then communication, it also involves in ensuring that the message has reached the target audience and that the receiver understands and responds as you need it. So communication क्या है? ये एक process. This communication is nothing but it is a basic organizational function. Here it refers to a process by which the person, that is the person who the person that here he is transmitting the information, who the sender, or messaging the information to whom, to another one. Who is the another person? He is the receiver. Okay, so here it is nothing but it is a exchange of the communication between, yeah, exchange of the ideas between two or more persons is also can be said to be the communication. Then when the sender sends it, then what happens? The receiver takes it. When the receiver receives it, then what happens? The receiver decodes it. What the message has been sent from the sender, he is listening it. Then he thinks about it. Then he decodes in his mind. Then again he resends the message. Okay, listening, speaking, reading, facial expression, body movement, action, color, gestures, ideas, fact, opinion, information, understanding, and these all are the other means of the communicating the thoughts to other people and to themselves also. These are the various types here. These are the various modes how we are communicating with the people. Okay, communication is a transfer or a transmission of some information and understanding from one person to another person. Okay, an effort to produce a meaning for form of communication. This is where there is a transmission or the transfer of some information is there, that is understanding from one person to the another person, and an effort to produce a meaningful form of a communication. So in another words to say, communication is the sum of all things that one person does when he wants to create understanding in the minds of the others also. So, what do you mean by communication, or what is the meaning of the communication? Communication, it is a process involving the sorting, selecting, and sending of symbols in such a way as to help the listener perceive and create his own mind, the meaning contained in the mind of a communicator. So, the communication involves the creation of meaning in the listener, the transfer of information, and thousands of potential stimuli are there. Communication enables us to do important things, to grow, to learn, to be aware of ourselves, and also to adjust to our environment. So why the communication is important? Because communication helps the employees to understand their role clearly and perform them effectively. Then it also helps in achieving coordination and mutual understanding, which in turn leads to the industrial harmony and also the increased productivity. So with the help of the communication, the employees can understand their role clearly, and they also can perform their role effectively in the organization. So with the help of the proper communication, it also helps in achieving the coordination and also the mutual understanding. So in which in turn helps, or which in turn leads to the industrial harmony and also for the increased productivity of the organization. Next, communication improves managerial efficiency and ensures the cooperation among the staff. With the help of the communication, we also can improve our managerial efficiency also, and it also ensures the cooperation among the other members. Next, with the help of the effective communication, it helps in molding attitudes. It also attitudes, and it helps in building up the employees' moral. With the help of the communication, we can mold the attitude of the employees. The thinking or the way of behaving of the employees can be molded through the effective communication, and it also helps in building the employees' moral. Then communication is the means through which delegation and decentralization of authority is successfully accomplished in an organization. So with the help of a proper communication, we can delegate the things, and we can decentralize the authorities also, and with the help of that one successfully we can accomplish in the organization. So next, speaking to the process of the communication. So I think you people know about the process of the communication also, how the process is there. The process of the communication mainly involves, there is an encoder, okay, then there is a dispatch or a reception, then there is a decoding of the message, then the receiver response will be there, and then there is a feedback. Okay, so this is how the communication is being processed. How? There are totally 5 things. Number one that I told you is the encoding. So what is encoding? Encoding is nothing but this is a source which initiates a message by encoding a thought. Here what happens? The sender puts ideas, thoughts into some form of a logical or a coded message. It may be in the form of a oral, or it may be in the form of a written, or it may be in the form of some letter, or it may be in the form of some verbal talks, or maybe in the form of some physically or body language, or through some format of expression. Then what he does, as the sender, even plans the sending of the message, and that sender, that is the encoder, okay, he considers the knowledge the receiver has of the subject matter, and also regarding the background information. What he thinks, if I send this message can be uh, understood by that receiver also. Then there are mainly 4 conditions that affects the encoded message. When the message is encoded, there are mainly four things which are been affecting the encoding message. Number one, the skill. Then the skill also affects the encoding of the message. Then the attitude of a encoder also affects the message. The knowledge, how much knowledge he is having, that much effectively he can send the message. Then the socio-cultural system of a encoder. So encoding means it is nothing but reducing our ideas and impulses into the signals. The most common encoding used is the words only. Through the encoding, which encoding system we are using, mainly we are using the words only. Okay. Once the message is being encoded, that is the message is being ready. Now the message is ready for the dispatch. Okay. The second step is the dispatch and the reception. It is being moved out and it is being received. See, as the message is of actual physical product of an encoding source, which is being received from the encoded source. For sending the message, some channel is required or some medium is to be selected. Okay, how this encoded message can be transferred to the receiver? So going from the sender to the receiver, there is a medium through which medium you can send it. So this may be sent through many types of dispatches. It can be done. So there may be certain time interval between the receiving of the message by the sender and the receiver. Here what happens, there might be some time gap between the sender and the receiver. Take an example of a telegram or a letter. Okay, when the telegram or a letter, if I am an encoder and I am sending the message to one of my friend through the telegram. So the telegram receiving, it may take 2 days. If I send it through the register post, it may take some 3-4 days. Okay. But what is the dispatching channel here? By through the post. Okay. Then now we are in chatting in the mails also. Mail will be going very fast. Okay. Then even nowadays we are seeing the WhatsApp messages. So there is some medium we are using. So to exchange our ideas, to exchange our thoughts, to exchange our words, we are using certain communication. That communication through which medium we are sending, that is known as the dispatch medium. Okay. Next comes the decoding of the message. Okay. Once the message is being sent, okay, through a proper chalan, then what happens? The opposite person who is there, he receives the or she receives the message. Once the message is being received by the receiver, then what happens? The message will be decoded. How it is decoded? So how the message is decoded? The receiver translates those symbols or ideas which has been sent from that encoder. Okay, he or she who has received tries to make them easily understood, and the process of this retranslation or interpretation of the signals by the encoder is known as decoding. Okay, the process in which the retranslation or interpretation of the signals is called as decoding. For this, the receiver must be the skillful in reading or listening, and also must be able to reason the decoded message. Okay.
So,
So that is how the decoded message, decoding of the message is done by the receiver. Okay. Next comes the receiver response. Once the receiver receives the response from the encoder, then he, after decoding that message, what he does, he decodes the message. When the message is decoded by the receiver, he has to respond to it in a suitable manner. Okay. we were just taking an example of an WhatsApp. In the WhatsApp, we were just messaging. We are chatting. Two friends are chatting here. One is sending the message. After reading that message, they immediately the other person does responds to it. It means that he has in his mind he has decoded the message. Okay, after decoding the message, proper response that particular person is giving that. So that is the response, receiver's response. Then the feedback is there. The last is the feedback. Feedback, what is that? Again, back communication to the sender who has sent him the message. Now what happens? The person is sending the feedback. Now he becomes the encoder and the medium becomes the dispatch, and the other person who is receiving it, he becomes the decoder. Okay, so that is how the process of the communication is done. Okay, next, after this comes some barriers of the communication. There are certain barriers when we are communication, during our communication. Many a times what happens when we are communicating, there are some barriers which are coming in between us. So what are those barriers? So these barriers are mainly classified into three types of barriers. These have been classified. Number one, the physical or the external barrier, then the semantic and the language barrier, and the third one is the psycho-sociological barriers. Okay, so this physical and the external barriers may include, physical barriers may, what are the things may it may include? Noise. If there is more noise, we cannot understand what the other person is communicating with us. Then improper time. If time is not proper, in the sense if the person who is receiving the message or sending the message in an improper time, okay, it also hinders. Okay, for example, during the closing hours, if you go and meet some employees for doing your work, then what they do is there will be hindering of the communication also. Then the distance also matters. If there is long distance and if you want to communicate, that also matters. It affects the communication. Then overloaded information. If you are writing too much or lengthy messages, that also it is there, it may give the dilution also. Then if there are any defects in the medium, if there are any problems, that is for example through medium, if you are sending, any internet problems are there, any postal, if you are sending it through the post, any postal problems are there. So these all are the defects in the medium. Next comes the semantic and the language barriers. Semantic and the language barriers, that is maybe because of the difference of the language also. If one people is saying something and the other people is mistakenly understanding that one, it happens many a times. Then poor vocabulary. If the person who is sending the message, he is not having the proper vocabulary, that is how to communicate. Okay, then faulty translation. If we are translating that message wrongly also. Okay, then comes the social psychological barriers. Social psychological barriers include self-centered attitudes, poor listening, emotions, group identification, even selective perceptions, filtering, and self-image. So these are certain barriers of the communication. Then comes the types of the communication. In the types of the communication, that is the formal and informal communication, verbal and non-verbal communication. That is the oral, written, non-verbal communication, or gesture communication. Okay, so these are the different forms of the communication.